Whispers echo through the ages, tales of a jewel imbued with immeasurable power, the Syamantaka. Coveted by emperors, sought by conquerors, its legend is etched in blood and brilliance. But within its captivating beauty lies a dangerous duality, the potential to heal or to devastate. For generations, its secrets were safeguarded by a lineage of guardians, their lives sworn to protect the Syamantaka from those who craved its destructive might. Now, that legacy has fallen upon Vikram and Aditi, two ordinary souls thrust into an extraordinary destiny. A stolen heirloom, a cryptic message, and a hidden truth propel them on a perilous journey. From the bustling streets of Mumbai to the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas, they navigate ancient texts, decipher forgotten languages, and face relentless adversaries. But the greatest challenge lies within themselves. Can they learn to harness the Syamantaka's power, or will they succumb to its allure? The fate of the world hangs in the balance as Vikram and Aditi confront the legacy they've inherited and choose their path, guardians of power or harbingers of destruction. Prepare to be swept away by a tale of adventure, intrigue, and the enduring human spirit. Open this book and enter the world of Guardians of Power. Chapter 1: A Birthmark and a Symphony of Dust Motes. The air in Vikram's cubicle hung heavy, thick with the scent of stale coffee and desperation. Mumbai's notorious humidity clung to him like a second skin as he wrestled with a particularly belligerent spreadsheet. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead, mirroring the crimson swirl that marred his palm, a birthmark that felt more like a brand in this stifling environment. It was a constant reminder of his grandmother's fantastical stories, tales of mythical heroes and jewels that pulsed with otherworldly power. He'd devoured those stories as a child, finding solace in their fantastical realms. Now, tucked away in the cluttered corners of his adult mind, they felt like faded tapestries, moth-eaten and forgotten. A shrill ring pierced the monotonous hum of the office, jolting him from his internal reverie. It was the building's notoriously unreliable mail service. Curiosity, a rare visitor in his world of deadlines and data, poked its head through the fog of frustration. The package, addressed in a spidery hand he didn't recognize, emanated a faint musty scent even from across the desk. It spoke of forgotten attics and long-untouched secrets. Hesitantly, Vikram tore through the brown paper, revealing a small, ornately carved box. Its surface gleamed with a faint sheen, seemingly untouched by the years. As he lifted it, a low hum vibrated beneath his fingertips, a sound barely audible but sending shivers down his spine. Anticipation crackled in the stale air, thicker than the monsoon humidity outside. With trembling fingers, he unlatched the intricately designed clasp. Inside, nestled on crimson silk that whispered of bygone luxury, lay a single object, a leather-bound journal, worn with the passage of time. The leather held a faint, musky scent, like the earth after a summer rain. The pages, yellowed and brittle, held a faded elegance. Ink, once vibrant, now struggled to tell its tale against the relentless march of time. But something about the script, elegant and flowing, held a captivating allure. Beside the journal lay a map, its edges singed and frayed, hinting at a journey fraught with peril. It depicted a landscape Vikram had only ever glimpsed in his grandmother's tales, snow-capped mountains that scraped the sky, a river that shimmered like a ribbon of moonlight. Yet, there was something more, something that resonated with a strange familiarity. A single word, written in an unfamiliar script that resembled dancing flames, dominated the center, Syamantaka. The crimson swirl on his palm burned with a sudden intensity, mirroring an echo of the swirling lines etched on the map. His breath caught in his throat. Logic, the cornerstone of his existence, battled with a tidal wave of curiosity. These weren't mere trinkets from a dusty attic. They hummed with a power he couldn't explain, a connection he couldn't deny. He carefully opened the journal, the scent of forgotten secrets swirling around him. The first line, written in a hand that spoke of a bygone era, sent a jolt through him. The legacy of the Syamantaka burns bright, even in the darkest of times. It awaits its rightful heir. Vikram slammed the journal shut, the sound echoing through the sterile cubicle like a gunshot. His mind reeled. Was his life about to take a turn for the fantastical? Could these relics bridge the gap between the spreadsheets and deadlines, and the fantastical stories that fueled his childhood dreams? A shiver ran down his spine, a strange sense of destiny tugging at him. He couldn't shake the feeling that the Syamantaka, and the truth behind it, held the key to unlocking a hidden part of himself, a part that craved adventure, a part that resonated with the crimson swirl on his palm. Chapter 2: Echoes in the Attic's Labyrinth. Sleep was a stubborn visitor that night. Vikram fought its pull, the worn leather journal a siren song on his desk. The harsh computer screen light cast long, menacing shadows across the faded pages. Each elegant script seemed to write, revealing a cryptic message from a forgotten past he never knew he craved. The map, with its singed edges whispering of perilous journeys, lay beside the journal, a silent taunt. The crimson swirl on his palm pulsed with a faint counterpoint, as if responding to the secrets swirling around him. Dawn arrived, painting the Mumbai skyline a canvas of fiery orange. Exhaustion clawed at Vikram's eyes, but the mysteries nestled in the package gnawed deeper. He devoured the journal's first entry, a tapestry woven with unfamiliar names: Krishna, the Pandavas, and a jewel named Syamantaka that pulsed with an otherworldly light. The entry spoke of a curse, a theft shrouded in darkness, and a family forever stained by the jewel's power. A jolt of recognition jolted him awake. These names echoed faintly in his grandmother's stories, whispers of a legacy his family supposedly left behind generations ago. He scrambled to his feet, a forgotten box tucked away in the labyrinthine attic suddenly burning bright in his memory. Could this be the missing piece, the connection to the Syamantaka and the birthmark that mirrored its swirl? The attic was a necropolis of forgotten memories, a realm shrouded in dust motes dancing in a single shaft of sunlight that speared through a grimy window. The air hung heavy with the scent of mothballs and dreams left to gather dust. He navigated through trunks overflowing with faded photographs and chipped porcelain, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Finally, in a cobweb-draped corner, he unearthed his prize, a tarnished silver box, its surface etched with the same swirling symbol that haunted the map. With trembling fingers, he pried open the box. Inside, nestled in crimson velvet the color of dried blood, lay a solitary object, a ring. Its band was intricately woven silver, cold against his clammy skin. But the centerpiece was what truly stole his breath. A single ruby, the size of a quail's egg, pulsed with an inner fire, casting an ethereal glow that danced across the dusty attic floor. The crimson mirrored his birthmark, and the jewel seemed to hum with a low, hypnotic energy that resonated deep within his bones. As he grasped the ring, a wave of dizziness crashed over him. Images flickered in his mind, a bustling marketplace teeming with color and noise, a jewel changing hands in a clandestine exchange, a flash of betrayal etched on a face contorted in greed, a desperate escape into the unforgiving embrace of snow-capped mountains. The scene unfolded with the vividness of a memory, more real than anything he'd ever experienced. Then, with a gasp that echoed in the silent attic, he was back in the stifling heat, the ring clutched tightly in his hand. Vikram stumbled back, his mind reeling. Was it a vision? A figment of a sleep-deprived mind? He didn't know, but one truth echoed loud and clear: his life had taken an irrevocable turn. The Syamantaka, the jewel from his grandmother's stories, was real. And somehow, by a twist of fate or a curse, he was entangled in its destiny. A thrill of exhilaration, chased by a whisper of fear, coursed through him. He stood at the precipice of a grand adventure, one that promised to unlock the secrets of his past, the truth behind his birthmark's connection to the Syamantaka, and the power the jewel held. The question gnawed at him: where would this adventure lead him, and what dangers lurked in the shadows waiting to pounce? Chapter 3: Whispers on Parchment, Secrets in Crimson. The attic, once a mausoleum of forgotten memories, now buzzed with a newfound energy. Sunlight, filtering through the grime-coated window, fell upon the worn leather journal on Vikram's desk, no longer just a collection of faded words but a tangible portal to a forgotten past. It thrummed faintly, a response perhaps to the Syamantaka ruby ring nestled in his pocket, its warmth a constant reminder of the jewel's power. He delved back into the journal, each line a brushstroke painting a vibrant tapestry of his ancestors' lives. He read of a time when his family held a position of immense power and prestige, their lineage intertwined with the legendary Syamantaka. The jewel wasn't just a source of breathtaking beauty, the words revealed, but a conduit for otherworldly energy, capable of amplifying the wielder's strength and wisdom. But with power came envy. The journal detailed a chilling betrayal, the theft of the Syamantaka by a rival kingdom, and the devastating curse that befell his family as a consequence. A shiver danced down his spine as he reached the final entry, scrawled in a desperate hand. It spoke of a hidden chamber, a hidden refuge where his family had stashed a map leading to the Syamantaka's hiding place. The entry ended abruptly, a single, ominous stain blurring the last line, a stain the color of dried blood, an unsettling echo of the ruby ring's crimson hue. Vikram's heart hammered a frantic rhythm against his ribs. The map in the package, its singed edges whispering of a desperate escape, could this be the missing piece, the key to unlocking the hidden chamber? He compared the map to the journal's crude sketch, a surge of adrenaline coursing through him. The symbols matched perfectly. The map depicted a treacherous journey, a path snaking through a dense jungle choked with towering vines and venomous creatures, a perilous ascent up snow-capped mountains that scraped the sky, and finally, a hidden valley marked with the swirling symbol, the same one adorning the Syamantaka ring. But the map wasn't the only clue the journal offered. Tucked within a brittle page, its edges as yellowed as ancient bone, was a scrap of parchment. The language it bore was indecipherable, a series of flowing symbols that danced like phantoms on the page. Yet, as his fingertips brushed the aged surface, a strange sensation washed over him. The symbols seemed to shimmer, radiating a faint warmth against his skin. A whisper, faint but distinct, echoed in his mind: the keeper's touch reveals the key. Vikram's breath caught in his throat. The Syamantaka ring, the map, and now this cryptic message, they were all pieces of a cosmic puzzle, a puzzle that held the key to reclaiming his family's legacy and breaking the curse that had haunted them for generations. The path, however, was fraught with danger, a treacherous journey through unforgiving landscapes guarded by unknown secrets. A new resolve hardened in his eyes. Fear could no longer be a luxury. He had a responsibility, a destiny intertwined with the Syamantaka. He had to find the hidden chamber, right the wrongs of the past, and perhaps, even unlock the true power of the jewel. But first, he had to decipher the cryptic message on the parchment. It was the key that would unlock the door to his legacy, and perhaps, his destiny. Chapter 4: Echoes in the Bazaar and Shadows in the Night. The weight of the past pressed down on Vikram like the Mumbai monsoon. He clutched the worn journal and the cryptic parchment, their secrets a tantalizing puzzle that demanded a solution. Deciphering the ancient script was his first hurdle. He scoured dusty libraries and sought out weathered scholars, their answers a frustrating mix of dead ends and vague possibilities. Yet, with each passing day, a conviction grew within him: the key wouldn't be found in dusty tomes, but in the bustling heart of India itself. His destination, a hidden bazaar nestled within the labyrinthine alleys of Delhi. Rumor painted it as a marketplace of the extraordinary, a place where whispers of ancient knowledge could be bought for the right price. The journey was a trial by fire. Crowds jostled and sweltered in the relentless heat, a cacophony of bartering voices and honking rickshaws assaulting his senses. Yet, Vikram navigated the chaos with a newfound focus, the Syamantaka ring thrumming faintly against his chest, a beacon guiding him forward. He found the bazaar tucked away in a forgotten corner, a labyrinth of narrow lanes crammed with overflowing stalls. Here, trinkets of dubious magic jostled with pungent spices and faded tapestries. An old woman, her face a map of wrinkles etched by time, sat amidst a jumble of dusty amulets and chipped idols. Her wizened eyes, the color of tarnished silver, seemed to pierce through Vikram's facade the moment he stepped before her. He laid the parchment on her worn counter, a silent plea for help. The woman studied it with a raspy chuckle that echoed through the cluttered stall. The language of a forgotten people, she rasped, her voice like dry leaves rustling in a desert wind. Knowledge comes at a price, young one. Are you prepared to pay? Vikram swallowed hard. He didn't have much to offer, but the yearning to unlock the secrets of his past burned brighter than any fear. He rummaged through his meager belongings and finally settled on his grandmother's silver locket, a cherished heirloom. The woman's gaze lingered on the locket for a long moment, then a flicker of amusement danced in her eyes. Sentimentality a rare commodity these days. She took the locket, its cool metal a stark contrast to her gnarled fingers. The script speaks of a forgotten ritual, a moonlit ceremony performed at the foot of Mount Kailash, the abode of the gods. She revealed the locket, a faint glow emanating from within. But the true key lies within you, young one. The blood of your ancestors holds the power to activate the words. Vikram stared at the locket, a sense of washing over him. A ritual at Mount Kailash, a journey that would test his limits, both physical and mental. Yet, a thrill of excitement coursed through him. He was no longer just a man trapped in a cubicle, but the potential heir to a legacy, a guardian entrusted with a powerful jewel. He thanked the woman, his voice thick with newfound purpose, and left the bazaar, the parchment clutched tightly in his hand. Night had fallen, painting the Delhi sky with a canvas of inky black. He stood on a rooftop, the city sprawling beneath him like a glittering tapestry. The weight of the past and the promise of the future intertwined within him. He looked down at the Syamantaka ring, its crimson glow pulsing with an ethereal light. It was a reminder of the path he had chosen, a path that could lead to redemption or oblivion. He took a deep breath, the cool night air filling his lungs. The journey to Mount Kailash began now. Chapter 5, A Serpentine City and a Spark of Alliance. Mumbai, with its relentless thrum of life, seemed a distant memory as Vikram navigated the labyrinthine streets of London. The air hung heavy with a damp chill, a stark contrast to the stifling heat of his homeland. His quest for the Syamantaka had led him across continents, the cryptic message on the parchment his sole guide. It spoke of a powerful family, the descendants of the jewel's original custodians, residing in this very city. London felt like a living tapestry, steeped in history and shrouded in secrets. Each cobbled street whispered of a forgotten past, and every imposing building seemed to hold a hidden truth. Armed with the limited information gleaned from dusty archives and whispered rumors, Vikram embarked on a perilous dance, infiltrating high society stories to gather intel. He felt like a fish out of water, his simple Mumbai attire and unpolished manners a stark contrast to the impeccably dressed elites. But beneath the facade of awkwardness, a steely resolve burned. He couldn't afford to falter. The legacy of his ancestors and the potential fate of the Syamantaka rested on his shoulders. One evening, at a glittering gala hosted by the prestigious Kensington Museum, fate intervened. As he clumsily navigated the throng of guests, a spilled glass of champagne threatened to drench an elegant woman in a crimson sari. Without thinking, Vikram lunged forward, the reflexes honed by years of navigating Mumbai's chaotic streets. The woman, startled at first, quickly recovered with a graceful smile. "Thank you," she said, her voice soft yet melodic. "You saved me from a rather embarrassing situation." Her eyes, the color of deep brown pools, held a warmth that disarmed him. This was Aditi, a historian of Indian descent, visiting London for a research project. As they conversed, a spark of connection crackled between them. They shared a common heritage, a love for their homeland's rich history. Vikram, drawn to her gentle yet perceptive nature, hesitantly confided in her about the Syamantaka and his quest. To his surprise, Aditi didn't scoff. Instead, her eyes widened with a spark of recognition. "The Syamantaka," she whispered, her voice tinged with awe. "A legend whispered in my grandmother's stories." She revealed a secret she had guarded for years, a family heirloom, a diamond pendant pulsating with an ethereal blue light. The inscription on it, passed down through generations, hinted at a connection to the Syamantaka. Vikram's heart hammered in his chest. Could this be another piece of the puzzle? Two ancient jewels, both pulsating with otherworldly power, brought together by fate? A hesitant trust blossomed between them, a bond forged by a shared purpose. As they left the gala, Vikram knew his journey wasn't a solitary one anymore. He had found an ally, a partner in his quest to reclaim the Syamantaka and unravel the secrets that bound their families to the legendary jewel. Chapter 6: A Labyrinth of Secrets and Stolen Stories. London pulsed with a rhythm unlike Mumbai's frenetic chaos. Here, time moved with a measured grace, shrouded in layers of history and guarded by imposing brick facades. Vikram navigated this labyrinthine city with Aditi by his side, their unlikely alliance fueled by a shared purpose to reclaim the Syamantaka jewel and unravel the secrets that bound their families to it. Aditi, her elegant demeanor a sharp contrast to Vikram's Mumbai bluntness, proved to be an invaluable asset. Armed with her knowledge of London's elite circles and Vikram's street smarts honed in Mumbai's bustling markets, they wove a web of deception. Their target, the Cavendish family, a lineage steeped in wealth and rumored to possess the Syamantaka. Their grand estate, a sprawling mansion on the outskirts of London, loomed like a watchful beast, its windows like cold, unblinking eyes. Gaining access was their first hurdle. Vikram, leveraging his charm and a dash of desperation, managed to secure an invitation to a lavish Cavendish soiree. His heart pounded like a drum solo in his chest as they stepped into the opulent mansion, a stark contrast to his Mumbai apartment. Glistening chandeliers cast an ethereal glow on the impeccably dressed guests, their conversations a symphony of hushed whispers and clinking glasses. They needed to find the Syamantaka. But how? Aditi, ever observant, noticed a peculiar energy emanating from a restricted wing of the mansion. Vikram, emboldened by a surge of adrenaline fueled by the Syamantaka ring nestled in his pocket, saw an opportunity. While the crowd mingled in the main hall, Vikram and Aditi, blending in with practiced ease, slipped away. The restricted wing, shrouded in an air of mystery, proved a maze of locked doors and hidden passages. Vikram, his knowledge of navigating Mumbai's bustling back alleys coming in handy, used his dexterity to bypass security cameras and pick intricate locks. Finally, they stumbled into a hidden chamber, a treasure trove of ancient artifacts bathed in an airy blue light. And there, on a velvet pedestal, pulsed the Syamantaka, a crimson ruby radiating an otherworldly light. But something else caught their eye, a bejeweled book, its pages shimmering with an energy that mirrored the ruby. Suddenly, a booming voice shattered the silence. They were caught, red-handed, by Lord Cavendish himself, his face contorted in a mask of fury. "Foolish thieves," he bellowed. You dare attempt to steal a family heirloom? Just as guards swarmed them, Aditi, her voice calm amidst the chaos, revealed her own heirloom, the blue diamond pendant. A gasp escaped Lord Cavendish's lips. Recognition flickered in his eyes. That can't be. He stammered, a flicker of doubt clouding his anger. Aditi, seizing the moment, explained their lineage and their connection to the Syamantaka. Lord Cavendish, it turned out, was a descendant of the ones who betrayed Vikram's ancestors. A tense standoff ensued, the fate of the Syamantaka and the truth of the past hanging in the balance. As the tension stretched taut, a new development arose, a sharp alarm pierced the air. An unexpected intruder had infiltrated the mansion, creating a welcome distraction. Vikram and Aditi, using the chaos as their escape route, managed to snatch the Syamantaka and the mysterious book. They fled into the night, the mansion receding behind them, a question mark hanging in the air: who was the mysterious intruder, and what did they want with the Syamantaka? Chapter 7. Whispers in the Parchment and Secrets in the Moonlight. Adrenaline thrummed through Vikram's veins like a forbidden melody. He and Aditi sprinted through the London night, the weight of the Syamantaka jewel pulsing with a warm crimson glow in his pocket, a constant reminder of their daring heist. The stolen book, its pages shimmering with an otherworldly blue light, felt heavy in Aditi's grasp, another piece of the puzzle waiting to be deciphered. They found refuge in a forgotten alleyway, the city's glittering facade replaced by the stark reality of damp brick walls and overflowing bins. Leaning against a graffiti-covered wall, Vikram and Aditi caught their breath, their eyes locked in a silent understanding. "We did it," Aditi finally whispered, a hint of disbelief coloring her voice. "We have the Syamantaka." Vikram nodded, but a sliver of unease gnawed at him. The Cavendish mansion break-in wasn't just about retrieving the jewel. It was about uncovering the truth, about setting right the wrongs of the past. And while they had the Syamantaka, the enigmatic blue book, and a newfound understanding of their family's connection, the question of the mysterious intruder hung heavy in the air. "Who do you think it was?" Vikram asked, voicing the question swirling in their minds. Aditi shook her head, a frown creasing her brow. "There are whispers of a sect," she revealed, "a group obsessed with ancient artifacts and their supposed power. Could they be the ones after the Syamantaka?" A shiver danced down Vikram's spine. The quest for the Syamantaka had taken an unexpected turn, one that hinted at unseen forces and hidden agendas. He looked down at the stolen book, its worn leather cover whispering promises of forgotten lore. Perhaps, the answers they sought lay hidden within its pages. With a shared determination, they retreated to a hidden flat Aditi knew of, a heaven from the prying eyes of the Cavendish family and the unknown threat of the mysterious sect. The flickering light of a single candle cast dancing shadows on the worn furniture as they delved into the stolen book. Its pages, written in an ancient script that resembled swirling vines, were indecipherable at first glance. But then, as Vikram held the book close, a warmth radiated from the Syamantaka in his pocket. A tingling sensation spread through his fingertips, and the script on the page seemed to shimmer and shift. Slowly, the ancient symbols began to reveal themselves, translating into a language that resonated deep within him. The book spoke of the Syamantaka's true power, not just a jewel of immense beauty, but a conduit to harness the very essence of creation. It detailed a ritual, an ancient ceremony to be performed at the foot of Mount Kailash under a specific lunar alignment. The ritual, if completed successfully, could not only break the curse plaguing Vikram's family but also unlock the jewel's true potential. A mixture of awe and trepidation washed over them. The path to redemption and unlocking the Syamantaka's power was clear, but fraught with danger. They had to reach Mount Kailash, a journey fraught with treacherous terrain and guarded by unknown secrets. And more importantly, they had to evade the clutches of the Cavendish family and the mysterious sect, both desperate to claim the Syamantaka for their own purposes. Vikram clutched the book close, the Syamantaka pulsing warmly in his pocket. Their quest had taken a dramatic turn, leading them deeper into a world of ancient secrets and hidden agendas. But they weren't alone anymore. They had each other, and the Syamantaka itself, a beacon guiding them on their perilous journey towards redemption and the unlocking of its true power. The adventure, it seemed, was far from over. Chapter 8: Whispers on the Wind and a Treacherous Climb. Days blurred into weeks as Vikram and Aditi prepared for their audacious journey to Mount Kailash. The stolen book, a roadmap etched on ancient parchment, held the key to the Syamantaka ritual. Deciphering its cryptic instructions became their daily ritual, a language that unraveled with each passing sunset under the watchful eyes of the borrowed flat. The city, once a bustling labyrinth, now felt like a cage. They were fugitives, their faces plastered across news channels, the Cavendish family baying for their blood and the mysterious sect a lurking shadow. But fear couldn't deter them. The Syamantaka thrummed against Vikram's chest, a constant reminder of the responsibility that weighed heavily on them to break the curse and unlock the jewel's potential. Finally, the day arrived. Disguised as weathered pilgrims, they slipped out of London under the cloak of a starless night. Their journey took them across continents, the familiar cityscapes replaced by the stark beauty of the Himalayas. The bustling crowds thinned, replaced by the silent majesty of snow-capped peaks scraping the sky. The air grew thin, the temperature plummeting with each passing mile. They trekked through treacherous valleys, navigated through frozen forests, and crossed icy rivers that grumbled threats beneath their feet. Each step was a battle against the elements, a test of their physical and mental endurance. But they weren't alone. A sense of being watched, a prickling on the back of their necks, followed them like a persistent shadow. Were they being tracked by the Cavendish family's relentless pursuit, or was it the unseen eyes of the sect seeking to claim the Syamantaka? One particularly harrowing night, as they huddled in a makeshift camp, a flicker of movement in the distance sent chills down their spines. A lone figure, cloaked in darkness, emerged from the swirling blizzard. Their hearts pounded a frantic rhythm, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Was it friend or foe? As the figure approached, the moonlight revealed a weathered face etched with worry. It was an old Tibetan monk, his eyes filled with a wisdom that seemed to pierce through their disguise. He spoke of their quest, of the Syamantaka, revealing a shocking truth: he was a guardian, tasked with protecting the jewel from those who sought to misuse its power. Relief washed over them, tinged with a healthy dose of caution. The monk confirmed their suspicions: the Cavendish family and the sect were both in pursuit, desperate to claim the Syamantaka for their own agendas. He offered them refuge in a hidden monastery, a sanctuary where they could prepare for the ritual at the foot of Mount Kailash, a journey only a few days away. The monastery, nestled amidst the snow-capped peaks, was a heaven of serenity. Here, under the watchful eyes of the monks, they trained for the climb, their bodies adapting to the harsh environment. The monk, their newfound ally, revealed details of the ritual, an intricate dance of precise movements and ancient chants under the specific alignment of the moon. He warned them of the dangers: the ritual could amplify the power within the Syamantaka, and if not controlled, could unleash a devastating force. As the night of the ritual approached, a strange sense of foreboding settled over them. They knew they wouldn't reach the foot of Mount Kailash unopposed. The Cavendish family and the sect wouldn't hesitate to intervene, and the fate of the Syamantaka, and perhaps the world itself, depended on their success. With a deep breath, Vikram and Aditi, their hearts pounding with anticipation and trepidation, set off on the final leg of their journey, climbing towards the sacred peak, towards a destiny intertwined with the Syamantaka and the secrets it held. The answer to breaking the curse and unlocking the jewel's true power lay just ahead, but so did danger, waiting to pounce in the shadows of the Himalayas. Chapter 9: Dance Under the Crimson Moon. The air hung thin and crisp, the biting wind whipping at Vikram and Aditi's faces as they ascended the final treacherous slope of Mount Kailash. The snow crunched under their boots, the silence broken only by the ragged gasps of their exertion. Above them, the peak, shrouded in an ethereal glow, seemed to pierce the heavens. This was it, the culmination of their long and perilous journey, the threshold to the ritual that held the key to the Syamantaka's power and the fate of their families. As they reached the designated spot, a flat, wind-battered plateau bathed in the airy light of a full crimson moon, a tremor of apprehension ran through them. The solitude was shattered by the sudden emergence of figures from the shadows. The Cavendish family, their faces contorted with greed, stalked towards them, their path blocked by a cloaked figure, the Tibetan monk, his weathered face resolute. A tense standoff ensued, the air crackling with unspoken threats. Just then, a new threat emerged. From another direction, clad in dark robes and wielding strange symbols, members of the mysterious sect emerged, their eyes gleaming with a fanatical glint. Vikram and Aditi were trapped, caught in a web of conflicting desires, all vying for the Syamantaka's power. The monk, his voice a calm amidst the brewing storm, intervened. "The ritual demands purity of intent," he boomed, his voice echoing across the desolate plateau. "Only those seeking to undo the curse and harness the Syamantaka's power for good can proceed." His words seemed to hang in the air, a challenge to all present. The Cavendish patriarch scoffed, his eyes narrowed in avarice. The leader of the sect, a woman with an unnervingly calm demeanor, simply smiled, a glint of madness dancing in her eyes. Undeterred, Vikram and Aditi stood their ground. With resolute determination, they began the ritual, their voices rising in unison as they recited the ancient chants deciphered from the stolen book. The crimson moon bathed them in an ethereal glow, and the Syamantaka, clutched tightly in Vikram's hand, pulsed with an otherworldly warmth. As the chanting reached a crescendo, the ground trembled. The air crackled with an unseen energy. A swirling vortex of light materialized above them, emanating from the Syamantaka. Fear threatened to overwhelm them, but Vikram held on to Aditi's hand, their combined focus unwavering. The Cavendish family and the sect, witnessing the spectacle unfold, lunged for the Syamantaka. But the monk, with surprising agility for his age, blocked their path. A fierce battle ensued, the monks of the hidden monastery joining the fray, their movements honed by years of disciplined training. Vikram and Aditi, oblivious to the chaos around them, continued the ritual. Their voices intertwined, their ancestors' memories seemed to course through them, lending strength and clarity to their chanting. The vortex of light intensified, threatening to consume them whole. Suddenly, a deafening roar split the air. A blinding flash of crimson light erupted from the vortex, engulfing them entirely. When the light subsided, Vikram and Aditi stood alone, the swirling vortex vanished, and a profound silence descended upon the plateau. The Cavendish family and the sect were gone, vanquished by the monks or perhaps consumed by their own greed. The Syamantaka, no longer pulsating with warmth, lay cool in Vikram's hand. Had they succeeded? Had they broken the curse and harnessed the jewel's true power? The monk, his face etched with relief and awe, approached them. "You have done well," he rasped, his voice laden with respect. "The curse is broken. The Syamantaka's power slumbers once more, but the choice to use it wisely lies with you." Vikram and Aditi looked at each other, their faces etched with wonder and exhaustion. The journey had taken its toll, but their bond had deepened, forged in shared purpose and perilous adventure. Together, they had faced formidable foes and the Syamantaka's raw power. But the true test was yet to come: the responsibility of wielding the jewel, a legacy passed down through generations, and the promise of a future shaped by their choices. Chapter 10: Whispers of Change and Echoes of Legacy. The sun peeked over the snow-capped peaks of Mount Kailash, casting a golden hue on the desolate plateau. Vikram and Aditi stood hand in hand, the Syamantaka cool and silent in Vikram's palm. Silence reigned, a stark contrast to the chaos of the previous night. The Cavendish family and the sect were gone, vanquished by the monks or consumed by their own greed. The weight of what they had achieved settled upon them. The curse was broken, the Syamantaka's power subdued, but the future remained an open book. A wave of exhaustion washed over them. The journey had been a crucible, stripping them bare and forging a bond stronger than steel. They had faced treacherous landscapes, ruthless adversaries, and the raw power of the Syamantaka itself. Now, as they descended the mountain, a different kind of challenge awaited: the responsibility that came with wielding the jewel. Back in the hidden monastery, the Tibetan monk, his face etched with wisdom, revealed a hidden chamber. Inside, a collection of ancient scrolls lay nestled on dusty shelves. They spoke of the Syamantaka's past guardians, their triumphs and failures. These scrolls became their guide, a roadmap to navigate the uncharted territory of their newfound power. Weeks turned into months as Vikram and Aditi delved into the ancient texts. They learned that the Syamantaka wasn't just a source of immense power, but a conduit for channeling the very essence of creation, a power that could heal, nurture, and protect, but also corrupt and destroy. The key, the scrolls emphasized, lay in balance and responsible use. A decision loomed. They could return to their previous lives, the Syamantaka safely hidden within the monastery walls. But a sense of purpose, a responsibility to their ancestors and the world at large, tugged at their hearts. The jewel, in the wrong hands, could be a weapon of unimaginable destruction. One starlit night, standing on the balcony of their Mumbai apartment, Vikram looked down at the bustling city lights. "We can't just walk away," he said, his voice resolute. "The Syamantaka needs to be used for good, to protect the world from those who seek to misuse its power." Aditi, gazing at the endless expanse of the Arabian Sea, nodded in agreement. "Together, we can learn to wield its power responsibly. We can be the guardians the Syamantaka needs." Thus began their new life. They established a foundation dedicated to environmental protection and conflict resolution, the Syamantaka's power subtly guiding their actions. They remained elusive figures, known only as benefactors with an uncanny ability to foresee and prevent disasters. The jewel, once a symbol of greed and destruction, became a beacon of hope, a testament to their unwavering resolve. But the world remained a dangerous place. Whispers of new threats, of forces seeking to exploit ancient knowledge for their own gain, reached their ears. Vikram and Aditi knew their journey was far from over. They were the guardians, forever bound to the Syamantaka, forever vigilant, forever ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. The legacy of their ancestors, once shrouded in darkness, now shone with the promise of a brighter future. The Syamantaka, a jewel of immense power, was no longer a curse, but a responsibility, a reminder that the greatest power lies not in destruction, but in the wisdom to use it for the betterment of humankind. Chapter 11: Shadows in the Sand and Whispers on the Wind. Years had etched their passage on Vikram and Aditi's faces, but their eyes still held the unwavering resolve of the guardians. The Syamantaka, once a fiery ember in their palms, now hummed with a cool serenity within its velvet pouch, a constant reminder of their responsibility. Their foundation, a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the edge, had become a thorn in the side of those who sought power for their own gain. Rumors swirled on the desert wind, whispers of a ruthless organization called the Obsidian Order. Obsessed with harnessing ancient power for nefarious purposes, they sought artifacts like the Syamantaka, coveting its potential for destruction. These whispers reached Vikram and Aditi through a network of informants, a clandestine group of individuals grateful for the Foundation's past interventions. A cryptic message, delivered by a hooded figure under the cloak of night, sent a jolt of urgency through them. It spoke of an ancient tomb, hidden deep within the scorching sands of the Sahara, rumored to hold a key to unlocking the Syamantaka's full potential. But the Obsidian Order was also in pursuit, their ruthless ambition a threat not just to the jewel's power, but to the delicate balance of the world. Vikram and Aditi knew they couldn't ignore the call. With a heavy heart, they left their Mumbai heaven, the familiar bustle replaced by the relentless sun beating down on the unforgiving desert landscape. Their journey took them through bustling marketplaces, where veiled figures traded secrets in hushed tones, and through desolate valleys where the wind whispered forgotten stories. Each step was a calculated risk, a dance with danger as they navigated treacherous terrain and eluded the ever-present threat of the Obsidian Order. Finally, guided by the cryptic message and the faint pull of the Syamantaka itself, they arrived at the tomb's entrance, a gaping maw in the side of a towering sand dune. The air hung heavy with an ancient, oppressive energy, a stark contrast to the sun-baked expanse outside. Armed with headlamps and a healthy dose of trepidation, they descended into the tomb's cool depths. The tomb, carved from an unknown black stone, was a labyrinth of twisting corridors and hidden chambers. Ancient murals adorned the walls, depicting forgotten rituals and hieroglyphs hinting at the tomb's forgotten purpose. Each step echoed in the oppressive silence, punctuated only by the drip of water and the hammering of their own hearts. Suddenly, a flicker of movement in the shadows sent a jolt of adrenaline through them. They weren't alone. Figures clad in black, their faces obscured by masks, emerged from hidden passages, their eyes gleaming with a manic glint. The Obsidian Order had found them. A fierce battle ensued within the tomb's labyrinthine halls. Vikram and Aditi, their years of training and honed instincts put to the test, fought with the desperation of cornered animals. The Syamantaka, clutched tightly in Vikram's hand, pulsed with a warm energy, subtly bolstering their movements. But the Obsidian Order was relentless, their movements fueled by a thirst for power and a twisted sense of purpose. Just when all hope seemed lost, a hidden chamber revealed itself, its entrance guarded by a crumbling stone door. With a desperate lunge, Vikram and Aditi pushed through, slamming the door shut behind them. They gasped for breath in the dimly lit chamber, their hearts pounding a frantic rhythm. In the center, an ornately carved pedestal held an ancient scroll, its edges browned with age. As Vikram reached for it, a surge of energy pulsed from the Syamantaka, illuminating the scroll with an ethereal glow. The inscription, unlike anything they had seen before, seemed to dance before their eyes, whispering secrets in an unknown tongue. Their fight wasn't over. The Obsidian Order pounded on the door, their frustrated roars echoing through the chamber. But Vikram and Aditi knew they had a weapon now, the scroll, the key to unlocking the Syamantaka's full potential. As they deciphered the inscription, their hearts filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. The power they wielded could be the answer to defeating the Obsidian Order, but it was also a terrifying responsibility, a force that could reshape the world, for good or ill. With the tomb echoing with the frustrated pounding of their pursuers, Vikram and Aditi began to unravel the scroll's secrets, aware that the fate of the world might just hang in the balance. Chapter 12 Echoes of Power and Whispers of Choice. The tomb's oppressive silence was shattered by the relentless pounding of the Obsidian Order on the heavy stone door. Sweat beaded on Vikram and Aditi's foreheads as they hunched over the ancient scroll, the Syamantaka pulsing with an otherworldly light that illuminated the cryptic symbols. Time seemed to stretch and warp within the chamber's confines, each passing moment precious and fraught with tension. With trembling fingers, Aditi traced the inscription, muttering the unfamiliar words that flowed from her lips. A sense of understanding bloomed within her, as if the scroll itself was whispering its secrets. It wasn't just a key to unlocking the Syamantaka's full potential, it was a warning, a cautionary tale of those who had succumbed to the jewel's power before them. The inscription spoke of a double-edged sword, the power to heal and nurture, but also to devastate and corrupt. It revealed a hidden chamber within the tomb, a repository of this raw power, a sleeping giant waiting to be awakened. But the inscription also emphasized a crucial caveat: the wielder's intent would determine the outcome. The Syamantaka wouldn't bend to force, but to the purity of their purpose. A wave of realization washed over them. Their battle with the Obsidian Order wasn't just about physical prowess or brute force. It was a battle of wills, a test of their own resolve. They couldn't meet the Order's darkness with darkness of their own. They had to harness the Syamantaka's power for good, to shield the world from the Order's destructive ambitions. With newfound resolve, they deciphered the final lines of the inscription. It detailed a complex ritual, an intricate dance of movement and chanting that would unlock the hidden chamber and grant them access to the raw power within. But the inscription ended with a chilling final line: "Choose wisely, for the path once taken cannot be reversed." The pounding on the door grew more frantic, the stone groaning under the relentless assault. Time was running out. Vikram and Aditi looked at each other, their eyes filled with a mix of determination and apprehension. Were they prepared to wield such immense power? Could they shoulder the responsibility that came with it? With a deep breath, Vikram nodded to Aditi. They stood shoulder to shoulder, the Syamantaka pulsing warmly in Vikram's grasp. They began the ritual, their voices rising in unison, the ancient chamber echoing with their chants. The air crackled with unseen energy, the hieroglyphs on the walls shimmering to life. The ground trembled as the hidden chamber's entrance materialized behind the stone pedestal. A swirling vortex of raw power emanated from within, a mesmerizing yet terrifying sight. For a moment, Vikram hesitated, the weight of the inscription pressing down on him. But then he looked at Aditi, her eyes filled with unwavering resolve, and knew they had to do this together. With a synchronized step, they entered the vortex, the world around them dissolving into a blinding flash of light. When they opened their eyes, they found themselves in a cavern bathed in an ethereal glow. In the center, a swirling sphere of pure energy pulsed with unimaginable power. This was it, the heart of the Syamantaka, the very essence of creation, raw and untamed. But before they could grasp the full weight of their situation, the pounding on the tomb's main door stopped abruptly. An unsettling silence descended, broken only by the soft hum of the energy sphere. Vikram and Aditi exchanged a worried glance. Had the Obsidian Order abandoned their pursuit, or were they planning something even more sinister? The answer came in the form of a chilling laughter that echoed through the chamber. A figure, shrouded in black, emerged from the shadows, their eyes glinting with a maniacal hunger. It was the leader of the Obsidian Order, having somehow breached the tomb's defenses. The battle for the Syamantaka's power, and the fate of the world, was about to reach its climax.